Yo, what's up? It's Lost Words, and welcome to my channel. This will probably be my first video because all the other ones I've tried to film and edit wound up not liking. And so you're probably wondering why the heck my bookshelves are so empty. And that is because this year I bought a lot of books. So many books, in fact, I had to buy 2 more bookshelves, which you see behind me, and then I sort of created a wall in my room by putting them back to back with 2 other bookshelves behind these. I'm basically doing a year in the book haul, or like a year in a book haul kind of thing. I don't know. I'm starting off with spring, of course, as you can actually probably tell because I would have titled this video that. I'm doing such great planning. I need to learn how to write scripts. Anyways, I guess let's just get started on the spring book haul for books I bought in 2017. First off, we have I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. Yeah, Jandy Nelson. And this book is apparently about twins. I haven't read it yet, I know, I've had a year. And basically about the twins and their relationship. It's a contemporary novel, which I don't usually buy and read a lot of. I only have one shelf on my bookshelf that I dedicate to these sorts of books. But I've heard a lot of good things on this, and there's pretty good reviews on Goodreads, so I'm looking forward to eventually reading it. The next books are actually 3 books in a series, and that would be the Maze Runner series. I have the Maze Runner, the Scorched Trails, and then for whatever reason I did not read up on this series properly, and I have the Kill Order, which is actually a prequel to the actual trilogy, and I thought this was the 3rd book, so I kind of messed up on that. Don't think I'm going to read them anyways because I read the Maze Runner already. I read it over the summer and I didn't quite like it. Like, that might be a unpopular opinion, oh no. But just didn't, I mean, the language that the kids used kind of bothered me. Even though I got that, like, why they used it and everything, to read it was kind of slow, and then I just didn't get why. A lot of the novel was based around people simply not telling the main character why things were the way they were. Like, he was like, why do we talk like this? And everybody else was just like, can't tell you, just follow the rules. And he's like, anyways, so not to spoil anything, but I didn't really like it, and it was kind of slow paced, and the language bothered me. But other than that, it was a really creative thing. I hear the movie actually might be better than the book. That's kind of taboo to say, but I'm probably going to wind up watching it. The next book is also one I've already read, and that would be Eleanor and Park by Rimbo Rao, who has become fast and by far one of my favorite contemporary authors, just because even if I can't directly relate to her main characters or even any of the characters in there, I just find them so endearing and real. Eleanor and Park is kind of about the relationship between Eleanor and Park and how they come to meet each other. They don't initially like each other, but they start to bond over music and their other interests, and it's really nice because it's a slow burn, which always gets me. The next book in my haul is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava Delira? I don't know. Oh, I should probably say where I got like all of these books. So I initially got all of these books at a book sale that is in my area biannually, so twice a year, not every other year, but twice a year, called the Friends of the Library book sale, which basically is a sale where libraries and people donate their old books that are no longer like in use on their shelves, and then twice a year people can go to the sale and then buy them for really cheap. So like this one I think I got for like 50 cents. Back to Love Letters to the Dead. I've heard a lot about this book. It's kind of about a girl who goes through a loss of a family member and how she copes with that by writing love letters to great people who have already passed away, like I don't know, past presidents or actors and stuff. As I said, I haven't actually read it yet, but I'm looking forward to it because the plot just sounds very interesting, and like the thought of, instead of just like writing to yourself in a journal or, you know, actually physically talking to a friend, you just kind of let it all out in letters to a person that is dead. I don't know, but the concept just seems interesting to me because it's as if you're conversing with someone and you're telling it to someone, but you're not actually, so you're not like having that weird social barrier where you're not sure how to open up to somebody because like this person's dead, they don't care how you speak to them, but I don't know. Next book is the infamous The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert, I don't even know how to pronounce that last name, it's probably British. But this is the infamous novel that J.K. Rowling published under a pseudonym, so it wouldn't be connected back to there, and then it was immediately connected back to her, so that didn't really work. But I've heard it's an interesting mystery, and since I don't usually read a lot of mysteries, I thought I'd give it a try. Haven't read it yet. Like many of these books I'm going to show you, but it's on my TBR, and I'll get to it eventually. The next book on this haul for spring 2017 is The Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. I have several of Holly Black's novels, but for whatever reason they've just always stayed on my shelf and I've never actually read them, even though she writes like exactly the kind of books I love to read. I don't know why that is. This one's kind of more of like a fantasy thing. It's kind of like a reverse Snow White, if you will, of where like the prince is the one that wakes up and she has to, like the main character becomes like a knight or something for this prince. And the next 4 books, because they kind of like go hand in hand because they're all by the same author, is by my favorite author of all time, who I have an entire shelf dedicated to because I have basically all but the graphic novels of his books, and that would be Rick Riordan. And let's see, I have the first and second here of the Magnus Chase series. So Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard, which is about Norse mythology and this kid Magnus who dies in the first, like, I think it's the first chapter, but it might be the first couple chapters of the first book, and he gets sent to the afterlife, basically, except he gets selected to be one of Odin's eternal soldiers, so he's basically getting a second life as a warrior, but since he's like a pacifist, he's like, I don't want to die again and have to fight every day. He's having to get over that, and I just kind of love Rick Riordan, so I love this series. I've already read all of these. Like, I've already read all of them. So this is the Magnus Chase series is a trilogy. I have the third one. I have not read it yet, but it is out for those of you who are wondering. I didn't get an arc or anything of it, but it's out. It's called The Ship of the Dead. I have it in later haul. I think it's in my fall haul. But these, highly recommend. I love them. It's about a kid who dies. What more could you need? The other series by Rick Riordan, which the third one is due out this coming year, but that would be The Trials of Apollo, which it's the Hidden Oracle, which is first, and then the Dark Prophecy, which is second. Hidden Oracle, Dark Prophecy. So this one I wouldn't really recommend to read if you haven't read literally like all of the other novels, which would be all but the Egyptian series. So if you've read the Percy Jackson series and the Heroes of Olympus series, this series will make sense. But if you haven't read those, this series won't really make sense because this book starts off kind of where they leave. Apollo gets blamed for something that happens in previous books, and Zeus strips away his godly powers and sends him down to Earth as a 13-year-old boy named Lester, who has acne and can't even sing or play an instrument or shoot archery properly because he no longer has his godly abilities. Kind of pisses Apollo off, and he can't understand because he's so great why he got shot down to Earth into a dumpster. It's about him trying to get his godly powers back and get back to Olympus. I think these are very funny. I think it only gets better. I like the second book even better than the first book, so I'm hopeful that it'll just keep getting better. As I said, I love Rick Riordan, so I basically will forever love everything he gets, or everything he writes. Like, I think that's just how it's gonna be in my life. These ones I didn't get at the FOL book sale because they are so new. These ones I bought myself off of Books A Million. These next ones I'm gonna show you, I actually got at school because at my uni, in the particular like classroom I was in, we had this thing called the free table where you could put anything you didn't want on it, and then somebody else could just come along, look at the free table. If they wanted it, they could pick it up and take it. And that would be the Aragon and Eldest. So book 1, and I think, yeah, book 2 of the Aragon series, and it's by Christopher Paolini, which I have never read. Don't kill me, please. I've never read Aragon. I haven't watched the movies either, if that helps. I've been meaning to read them my entire life. I just never got around to it for some reason. And since I happen to like dragons and fantasy and high fantasy and stuff like that, I hope to enjoy them. This is back to novels from the Friends Library book sale, and that would be the Looking Glass series, which is a retelling of Alice in Wonderland, but Alice's World, Wonderland, she's actually, I think, royalty in, and it's an alternate universe actually, and somehow between the warring period in her world, she is like, her kingdom's attacked and she has to flee. She somehow ends up in this world, and it's about her, the Hatter, and her other like iconic characters fighting to get back to where they belong, I believe. I haven't read past the first one, and I read the first one when I was in middle school, so I don't remember too much about it, but I just remember really loving the books and always wanting to read the second and the third one. The author is Frank Better. Next is Miss Pingreen's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I have started this one. I haven't gotten very far just because I got sidetracked by other novels that I prioritized. I started reading this around when the movie was supposed to come out, and all my friends who had already read this saw the movie and said the movie was very weird, so I wound up not really rushing reading this just because I didn't feel the need to if the movie wasn't that great, and it kind of deviated from where this book goes. But basically it's about a boy who finds a house that this woman, Miss Peregrine, which is the falcon by the way, which is why she changes into a bird. Peregrine falcons are actually one of the most endangered falcons in the world. But anyways, she takes care of these children with magical abilities, herself having a magical ability as a shapeshifter, and him helping become the protector of these children, I believe. The next book, which I have read and I really loved, and I already have some of the next ones that I'm excited to read as well, is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, who I now follow on Twitter, and she's one of the most hilarious authors I've ever encountered. I love her. Stop calling me! Hold on. I went out there for nothing. Somebody else got the phone. Anyways, The Raven Boys, which is about a girl named Blue who she has been told ever since that the first boy she'll kiss and fall in love with, she'll kill him, basically. So, it's good. Next up on the FOL list is the Red Queen series with Red Queen and Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard. I haven't read either of these, but it's way high up there on my TBR list because I've been really into Corrupt Kingdoms lately. I don't really know much about these novels. Yeah, I don't really know much about them at all, but as I said, I tend to go into a lot of novels having a vague idea of what they're about and that I know I will like them, and then I just read them. So I'm assuming it's about some girl who gets raised as some kind of killer and her having to deal with the corrupt court and destroying that corrupt court or something. I don't know. I've heard mixed reviews about it, but since I'm not that hard to please, I think I like them. The next book is Safik by Catherine Fisher. I won't really say anything much about this one because it's actually the second book in this series. The first book is by the same author, Incarceron. It's about a group of kids who's in a labyrinth type situation and trying to get out. Not really, I don't know, it's just a very interesting concept and not like things I had read before. Don't really know what happens in this novel because I actually didn't even know it was a series until I found this book. So yeah, just waiting for my piles and piles of books to go flying everywhere. Alright, and for the last two books in my haul for spring 2017, A Year in Book Hauls, is the last two books in the Cassandra Clare series of Shadowhunters. So that would be City of Heavenly Fire and City of Lost Souls. I have read, which ones comes before? Okay, I have read City of Lost Souls, but I never actually wound up getting around to reading City of Heavenly Fire just because I was starting at a new school at the time. So I wound up never actually reading it, but I remember most of the entire series, so I'll probably just go ahead and read it and not reread like the 5 books before it because that's a lot, especially since they're all like 600 pages and so. I actually read the Clockwork Princess, Clockwork Angel, and Clockwork Prince books first, and I absolutely loved that trilogy, which led me to read the Shadowhunters, which I didn't love as much, but I still loved them. That wraps up the entirety of my spring 2017 book haul. I'm going to now put all of these books back on my shelves and move on to summer. So I think I'm going to post this probably in a series of 3 days. So this will go up like today, the day I post it, and then the summer will go up the next day, and then fall/winter, I guess, will go up the next day. And so yeah, you'll get to see how many books I bought this year. It's an embarrassing amount. I have stacks of books like everywhere in my room right now to kind of separate them out between the videos because I've been planning this for a while because I was supposed to do this ages ago, but I failed my friend who made me start this booktube channel, which is Kylie. Currently her channel is just under Kylie Woodseth, but her channel will be called Hooked to the Book. And yeah, you should go check her out. Of course, like, subscribe, comment, do whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go organize my shelves now, and hopefully you will start to see beauteous things happening behind me. You probably noticed there's like pottery back here. That's because I also collect pottery. I guess if you guys wanted, I could do like a creators pottery tour because I buy my pottery from like people who hand make them because I'm kind of an enthusiast after I took a ceramics class in college. So yeah, if you want to meet my pottery and have like a pottery haul, I guess I could do that for you guys, but for right now I have like over 100 books to show you, so I gotta go. Last words out.